skateboarding without a helmet. So everyone wear your helmet if you skateboard. Um, but that caused me to really reflect upon my life and what I wanted to do with my time. And that's when I decided to quit my career and to focus on prevention. And so that's how I got into the Kangen world. So it's been quite a journey.
So, so how did it happen for you? Because from what I heard, somebody actually told you about this, and like most people, it's kind of like, But once you hear it from 3 or 4 people, are like, man, maybe I should pay attention to this. So how did it start for you?
I had known about it. I think when I first came to the U.S. Because my career is in medical technology. I study medical devices, and how to leverage that technology to help people stay healthy. And so I knew about this medical device water filter, which was kind of odd back, I think in 2003 or 2005 or something when I first came to the U.S. But I kind of rolled my eyes and I said, it's a water filter. It's a gimmick. It'll never last. And so after my near-death experience, when I left my career already, I was looking at life insurance for my personal, protection of my family. And so I was working in finance for about 9 months or so, and one of my friends in that finance job uh, asked me to, they said, Sam, you used to be a scientist, right? And I told them, yes, I'm a recovering scientist. Could you help me evaluate this technology from Japan? And that's when it resurfaced again. And so by that time, I had an open mind about this whole concept of doing prevention as opposed to treatment. And so that's how I got it got introduced to me as, could you help us evaluate this technology? Right. So
Okay. And so when you started evaluating it, what are some of the things that really impressed you about it and got you?
Yeah, because what I started looking at the literature, the published peer-reviewed literature, and you can find a lot of information on PubMed, publishedmedicine.gov. I think it's .gov, but it's peer-reviewed studies about electrolyzed reduced water, which is the medical term for this the water that comes from this medical device. And so that really intrigued me because there's thousands of peer-reviewed research papers on this, most of them from Japan, but now there's a lot of countries around the world coming out with this research too. And so that really shocked me because I had never considered it. I'd never even remotely this is all what the hippies do, with all the tree hugging stuff. Like, this isn't science. This is like pseudo whatever BS, right? And so, but when it became real to me was after reading all those research papers, and then that's when I got my machine and I started drinking it, and my migraine headaches went away. Those symptoms went away. And so I used to play basketball every Monday night, and I wouldn't be sore on Tuesday, and I wouldn't be sore on Wednesday like I normally was. And I said, what the heck is going on here? How could water have that big of an impact? And so that's when I decided to, right there and then I wanted to do this for the rest of my life. Because it's a mission now. It's not a job.
Mm-hmm. So explain that a little bit, because I know for myself, it's more of how many people can I help? How many people can I tell about this? Because you talk to anybody, and everybody can use this water, especially the people that are sick. So how is it with you?
Yeah. So I in the beginning I used to talk a lot about the properties of the water, but over the years I've shifted into, okay, so what is it? What's the big dream that you have that you want to achieve in life? What's the big goal? What's the escape plan that you have? What's plan B, right? And so it's very good timing now for the world, because a lot of people are like, hey, they're falling off and they're trying to do plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F, right? Because plan B was also went out too, right? And so now for me it's a conversation about, okay, so what kind of life do you want to design? Not just here are the facts on the water. For me, the water is a vehicle to use to create your life. Mm-hmm. Right? It says change your water, change your life. in the beginning, I always talked about just change your water, and I never talked about the change your life part. But
Oh, I thought
now,
it was,
you
no,
know,
it's change your water, change your wife.
no, change your life.
Oh,
No,
okay, all right. Just want to make sure I got that straight.
yeah,
Okay.
change your life. So, yeah, so so that's why I spend a lot of time, just meeting and socializing with people, and then after a while they find out what you do, and you find out what they do, and then you just say, well, this is the tool that I'm using, and then some people learn about it early, some people learn about it late, but it's just right now I'm trying to find just open-minded people,
hmm
you know.
Well, going back to what you said earlier about looking at the published articles and stuff about it, one thing that I always point to is if you go to scholar.google.com and you put in electro-reduced water and cancer, you'll see all these peer study reviews, etc., on how it helps out greatly for that, or ERW diabetes. Do you want to expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, so one of the reasons, and we have to kind of protect the ship here by not talking about specific indications and specific conditions. The reason why Kangen is so effective is because it's instrumental in every reaction, every chemical pathway and process in the body from birth to death. Okay, so water is 2/3. No, actually, water is about 75% of each person, right? So that's the biggest component that makes you, right? But if you look at water as a molecule, 99.99999 of the molecules, right, percent of the molecules in your body are water molecules. So this is why we're having such a broad-based impact on so many things, because we're able to detox, and we're able to provide, an essential building block that's so pure and clean, right? And so that's why it works. And so that was one of the things that was so intriguing for me, because the holy grail of being in cancer research and pharmaceutical research is you find something that's simple, right? You find something that's effective, right? And you find something that's easy to comply with, easy to do. And we meet all three here, right? I mean, it's drinking water is just a little bit harder than breathing. Okay. If no one can, if someone doesn't want to drink water to change their life, then there's not much else I can do for them. Right?
Yeah. It's funny how you get some people that complain and say, when you tell them how much water they're supposed to be drinking, because I like to have people shoot high, because if a lot of people say, "I'll drink half an ounce of water per pound of body weight." Well, yeah, if you want okay results,
Yeah.
but if you want fantastic results, you want them to drink an ounce of water per pound of body weight. And so I have them shoot high at that. I don't tell them half an ounce. I say, you want to try and drink at least an ounce of water per pound of body weight, because that most people aren't accustomed to that, and they're going to fall a little bit short with any type of goal. So I like to have them shoot high for something like that. But even at that, you always get complaints. Oh, that's a lot of water. I have to go to the bathroom a lot. Like, yeah, you have to go to the bathroom a lot, but you got cancer, you got other things, stuff like that. Lots of major things going wrong with your body. This could really help out. But it's like, oh, well, I don't know if I want to do that, because I'd have to go. That means I'd have to drink more water. It's like some people's mentality is like you said, it's.
Yeah. So, like in, I do field a lot of questions from prospects, from a different lot, how to handle objections and things from other people, from other teams. I help a lot of teams around the world too. And so one of the objections, like you said, is like, how much water do I have to drink? And I don't like to go to the bathroom so much. And so I always pose it back to them. Okay, so is there anything that in the bathroom that you'd like to keep, specifically what you deposit into the toilet? Right? Because this is how your body is supposed to function. If you get toxins in daily from your food, water, air, chemical cleaners in your house, how else is your body supposed to get rid of that stuff besides in the toilet and sweating it out and crying it out and throwing it up, right? So your body has these natural systems and these natural cycles, right? And so we're just helping the body do what it naturally does.
That's a great answer. I really love that answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, what is the greatest aha moment for you in, getting your business going and really helping out a lot of people?
I am, we're humans. We tend to do what we know, and we know what we do, right? So I came in here thinking that I had to become a Kangen doctor, and I had to be the science guy, right? And then so I was, I think a lot of times people come in, and ask me to be part of their show or on their panel is because I can address the scientific questions. But the biggest aha moment for me was simplicity is the most complex thing you can do, right? And so doing something simply like this Kangen water does many things that many of the complex medications cannot do. True?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that was a big aha moment for me, that simplicity is actually extremely complex.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's what we should all be striving for, because genius runs to simplicity. So if genius runs to simplicity, I don't know who runs to complexity. Right? Right?
Think for a minute there. Yeah.
That's what we have today. We have a very complex world that doesn't deliver. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a huge aha moment for me, that simplicity is the hardest thing you can do, and we should all strive for simplicity. So this business isn't very hard to do. We just make it complex.
Yeah, I like what Daniel said on the last webinar we had last week, and he said that what the biggest thing that I got out of that was older people like 45 and older, they're more interested in health. You get the younger people, they're interested in wealth, but no matter what, it seems like that most people are more interested in making money than they are about their health, mm-hmm. which tells you a lot about society. But when I saw this, I first saw health and how I wanted to get it for myself and my body and help other people. And then it was like, oh wait, there's a business attached to this. This is pretty mm-hmm. interesting. This is really cool. Yeah. So
same here. The exact same thought process, because I was already in pharmaceutical research. I was already geared towards finding the cure for cancer, finding the cure for diabetes, right? And my mindset was already that, all of us scientists and everyone that's a nurse or a doctor, we don't go into healthcare to become billionaires, right? We want to become billionaires. We go into Wall Street, right? We go into healthcare to do better for society, to move the ball down the court, right? To further scientific knowledge, or to further truth, right? And so that's why we went into this, and that's why I'm so passionate about what I do with the Nagic and with Kangen now. This has become a mission, a calling, a life calling for me, not just a side project.
And because of that, you have a lot more purpose in your life. You have a lot more fulfillment. You have a lot more drive. You feel like you're amounting to something rather than punching in a clock and filling out some paperwork. And I remember you telling me several times that working in the pharmaceutical research, and when you would find a drug or research a drug and try and bring a drug to market, especially like for cancer and things like that, you told me you'd have like 300 different drugs and you would bring to market the one that had the least amount of side effects.
Yes, exactly. The drug discovery process is about 15 years and probably $1 to $2 billion, right? And so that's what the capital that is needed and the time that is needed to come up with these interventions, right? These best options, right? But in reality, what you're getting on the TV commercial that you see, the drug commercial on TV, you're just getting the best out of a group of losers, basically, right? And so there's no winners in there. If you have to take a drug to maintain your health and life, you're not really winning. You know what I mean? You're dependent on something. You're not really free, because if there's any kind of emergency, you got to worry about your supply of drugs. right? So it's not a system that's really built for creating a real sense of freedom for all of us. And then saying that's what caused me to feel a little bit empty. These dead end, these soul sucking jobs, right? I went into it with a passion, but over time I lost that passion because it was a hamster wheel. Like we're never going to find the cure for cancer,
Mhm.
right? And that's what dawned on me. And that was quite a shocking moment, actually. It's like we're never going to find the cure for cancer because the system is built to profit from the treatment.
Mhm. Yeah. It's interesting because my mom has been in the medical field for over 55 years. And last 10 years, she worked as a research nurse for some very prominent drug manufacturers and was offered very high paying salary and to run the departments for a couple different companies. And so she did this for 10 years. And when I showed her the water, she thought I was crazy.
Mhm.
But she ended up in the hospital with Dupuytren's disease and her blood pressure's over 215. And they sent her home with medication. And she called me up and said, I know better than to take any pharmaceutical drug. So she got the Kong machine and got phenomenal results.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah.
John, and that aha moment that your mom has because she has seen firsthand what the limitations of modern medicine are. Okay, so when it came to her personal choices, she knew from her experience what the limitations were, and she was unwilling to take those risks, right? And that's the same thing. That's why a lot of us that are in healthcare, we have to have that, whatever the come to Jesus moment, or like the rubber meets the road moment. Like, what are we really gonna do for ourselves? And you could ask doctors that get cancer. Most of them don't get chemotherapy and radiation. 97% of them don't. And so for me, that's very telling that when, researchers like myself and your mom and other doctors are looking at this as a viable option because of how non-viable the other options are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, according to Oncology Magazine, 80% of doctors wouldn't use chemotherapy or radiation on themselves or their family. And I think that pretty much says it all. And
That's
I
shocking,
think,
right?
what's that?
It's shocking. It's shocking for
Yeah.
most people, but yet we're bombarded by ask your doctor if this pill is right for you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so the pictures don't match.
Well, I know just spending time with you and hanging out with you and stuff like that, that your life has not been the same since you left that industry.
True.
How would you compare it from now from what it was then?
Um, Before I was driven by the Outlook calendar. So I knew exactly where I was gonna be, at 9 or 10 a.m. every day because it was, things were booked. And so now I don't, I keep a calendar when, but I get to put the stuff on the calendar. And most of the time it's going out and socializing with people. So you remember that day that we went skiing up at Stevens Pass, right, John?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're out having fun, we're living life. We're not in a cubicle, and for me now there's so much fulfillment because I love the role that I play in people's lives and in my own children and my wife, right? They get to see me be happy. And unfortunately for a lot of people, it kind of irks them that you're too happy, right? But it doesn't irk me that I'm too happy. I
Well,
love this. I love this transition that I've made, and it's so fulfilling, and it's something that I can do until my 95 or 105 years old. I can drink water professionally for a long, long time. I can't dig trenches and I can't report to an office cubicle until I'm 95. They won't keep me around that long. But drinking water, shoot, I'm going to do that forever.
yeah, and just so you guys know, Sam left his 9 to 5 just over broke job, as a lot of people call it, just over broke. But he is now in the wintertime, he's works for the ski area. So he gets free passes for he and his family. He gets discounts on the food. He gets to go up there and ski when he wants to, where he wants to. And where he wants to too. It covers, his pass covers over, I think, 100 different resorts.
43, I think it's 43 resorts.
43, okay.
Yeah.
And then in the summertime, he's a river rafting guide. So you talk about a nice life, guys. This guy has learned to go from being
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone, John. Shh. It's top secret.
Well, it's amazing. I'm actually going to go to Italy for a week, and then I'm going to go to Greece for a couple of days after that, and that's going to be in October. So we get to live the life that a lot of people have always wanted to do, and the best thing about it is too, it's a tax write-off. We get to meet people, we get to spend time when we want to. Right after this, I'm going to go in for a bike ride on the beach. I'm going to go to the gym, read a book. It's all what I want to do. I'm not in shackles to a job.
True.
So, Sam, what would you say is the number one thing that you say, or a couple of things that you would say to a person just getting started in this business?
I would tell them, check what you know at the door. Right? Like leave the baggage at the door and just come into this as a student. Right? Because I made the mistake of coming in here thinking that I would just dominate and kill this business because of my medical or my background, or I have sales skills or whatever. But the animal that we're dealing with here is totally different. Everything in this business is 100% or 180 degrees different than what a traditional business is, a traditional mindset. We don't do sales. We don't sell things. Now, people want to buy things from us, right? And they buy things from people they like, right? And so my job is to make a lot of friends and help a lot of friends out, right? I don't do sales, but initially I was kind of resistant. I didn't want to learn how to be social because I was kind of antisocial, right? I was a science nerd, right? But this is a very, if you're an extrovert, fantastic. If you're an introvert that wants to be an extrovert, this is fantastic. I've never come across something where I'm using it daily. I probably turn on my Kangen machine, I probably run that thing 10, 20 times a day, easily, right? And then it's already an integral part of my life and my body, and I'm just doing what I am. There's no 9 to 5 to this, right, John? There's no Monday through Friday. There's no TGIF. Every day is a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
On Monday, I would text my friends, "Happy Friday," and they're like, "Dude, what are you talking about? It's Monday." Because it is Friday. Every day is a Friday.
Yeah. I was listening to this motivational speaker's named Big Al.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And if you've listened to his tapes before, I got his tape series. And he says that when he goes and he's marketing in a new city, he doesn't look for the best salesperson. He looks for the person that tells the best stories and the best storyteller. Because really that's all you're doing is telling a lot of stories and stuff. Because I just find people's hot buttons with anything type of ailment, or if they're talking about making money or having time freedom. And I just talk about that. And I talk about somebody who's had that particular problem or how they got out of it. And I relate it a lot to myself. And that's basically, I'm not telling a lot of factual stuff, and I'm not super educated and spew a lot of information about antioxidants and alkalinity and things like that. They want to hear how it's going to help them. True. And both physically as well as financially. So we're basically storytellers, and I like what they say. They say facts tell, stories sell.
True.
Okay. So just remember that, guys. You want to talk a little bit about that, Sam?
Yeah, we for the history of mankind, we've always sat around the fire and just exchanged stories, right? And that's how wisdom was passed along. Right, John? You go,
Right.
you're hunting, you hunter gatherers, you sit around the campfire and you talk about what happened well on that hunt, right? And then I don't know, you do dance, whatever, right? But you pass along this wisdom. And so we don't get much of that passing along the wisdom. We get handed books and we get handed data from some authority on high today, right? And so the true wisdom and so that's what we're passing down to people. We're passing our experience, right? It's not driven by data. And so I get asked this question a lot. People ask me, well, Sam, can you share with me the data? And I ask them, you guys know that data can be manufactured, right? Right. And so what's beyond, what's a next level beyond data? It's results. And so I asked them, do you want the results or do you want the data? Because you can only have one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so this is how I kind of filter out all the data seekers, all the analytical nerds like me. I filter them out because they're gonna keep asking you for data, right? They're a data analyst, but they've got diabetes. So what's the point of being a data analyst if you got diabetes? You're sitting on mounds of data, but you still got diabetes. And I ask them, do you want the result? Right? Your blood sugar is well controlled, or do you want the data on how this is going to work? Right? And I said, it's drinking water, man. If you can't do that, I don't want to work with you.
No, I really like that point you got there too, because it's like you're basically just saying, why don't you try it? What do you have to lose? Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
What do you have to lose? And you get a lot of people that get really analytical, like doctors and things like that. They want to see all the. I had I had one doctor and stuff. I have him in my men's group and stuff, and he keeps asking me for the data, and he's asking for the data, and I just think to myself, why would I give this guy the data? I'm like, yeah. But why would I give him data? He's just gonna, it's basically just gonna be spinning my wheels. It's more about, hey, why don't you try it, and then tell me how you feel, rather than you looking through piles of data and then coming to your own conclusion, because you're gonna go find something. If you go to Google, you're gonna always see things written bad about the water, or how alkaline water isn't good for you, etc. Because all they're talking about is alkaline water, which is water with baking soda, which is totally different than what we have. So people take that and they think, okay, well, this saying bad stuff about alkaline water, and their water is the same, so I'm not going to drink it. So it is all about results. It's talking about having them try it and just make it really simple for them. The best thing you can do is doing a demonstration at their house, or having them watch a video to get the information. And if they're still disagreeing with that, then you got to move on. You can't try and make a sale out of somebody who's just
True.
Doesn't want to hear you.
True. And John, when I was approached the first 12 or whatever years that I was approached by this, and so I was one of those data-minded people, right? I was driven, and that's what my mind was. But I realized that was my block. So I was blocked because I was too analytical. Okay. Mm-hmm. And now I tell people, so I ask people, is science able to explain everything in the universe? No. It's just a lens that we evaluate things with. Right? But science doesn't know exactly how the stars will form. We have theories, right? The Big Bang theory. We have theories about like what our body is doing. We have theories about this virus that's supposedly going around, right? We have theories. Science is hypothesis and theory. Science isn't fact, right? But we've turned science into this thing that we don't question. And for me, the first thing I do is I question the science, right? Because I got a result that science couldn't deliver. Right. So it made me wonder, wow, what has been put inside my head? Because if this is so crazy, but it works, then why am I even calling it crazy based upon what I know?
So going back then, what were you thinking? Because as an analytical person, you see it work. Did it make you want to try it on other people? Did it make you want to
Yeah,
do some more research on it?
definitely. Yeah, I wanted to I'm a scientist, but I think like an engineer. I wanted to break it apart and like almost shoot holes in it, right? But water is bulletproof, basically, right? Water is bulletproof, right? And so and I couldn't shoot holes in it, so I said, well, I'm going to join it, right? And so I couldn't find a situation that this thing could not improve.
Yeah.
A chronic illness, right? This thing ain't going to do nothing for your broken leg, okay? But it'll help you prevent some of the osteoporosis by reducing your acid in your body, right? That could lead to osteoporosis. So it's not the cure, and we don't cure anything. We just put the body into homeostasis, into a balanced state that it can repair itself, and that's the miracle that is this body. We can repair ourselves if we give it the right conditions, the right building blocks. No one has a deficiency of Tylenol. I guarantee you.
Mhm.
Tylenol just blocks pain receptors, right? You got to adjust. Well, why do you have the pain, right? And so that's what blows me away. This I couldn't shoot holes in it, so it must be true.
Mhm. I know with the back pain, one of the things that really got me was, and I tell this story over and over again, but seeing the demonstration, hearing 20 stories and testimonies of people that's dramatically affected their health and their problems and getting fantastic results. And then having 4 of those stories happening to me.
True.
So I'm thinking, okay, wait, I had 4 of those problems, and it worked on me and took mine away. So through deductive reasoning, those other 20 stories must be true.
Mhm.
And if those other 20 stories are true, then this is the best product I've ever seen, because as you said, there's nothing I have not seen, any ailment, any sickness, that people have gotten fantastic results from it and improved their health or their situation drastically with this.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's what really got me excited, because I realized there, as you well said, that there's really nothing I haven't seen that it work on. And I remember talking to Dr. Filter about my knee, and I said, I was explaining about my knee and how it took away. I had 2 surgeries on my right knee, one on my left, and how it took all the pain, discomfort away. And also with my brother, with his 2 car accidents, he'd have to get epidurals for his back once in a while because his back hurt all the time. And he said after, he got great results. And Dr. Filter said because it has so many antioxidants, those act as an anti-inflammatory, because you're getting billions and billions of antioxidants. So any type of knee pain, any type of back pain, neck pain, etc., that you're going through is going to help alleviate that.
True. And that's most people don't know that their longevity is proportional to how many antioxidants they have in their body, right? And so if you are a smoker, you're consuming, because your body does make antioxidants too, right? And so you're consuming all your ability to repair and replace and stay youthful. So when you consume the electrical, the ORP, the free electrons, which is the best antioxidant there is, in the universe, you're getting the building blocks that your body is going to use to repair, replace, build, and keep you alive longer. And this is you basically own the factory of that antioxidant in your kitchen, right? And so I'm going to be October 10th, John. I'm going to be 50, 50. Okay? My friends, I mean, that's a big one. That's a big mark, right? And my friends look at my face and they're, dude, you don't look like you're 50. Like, I don't know what, like 50 is a new 40 or whatever it is, but I don't look 50 because of this water, right? And people don't don't realize that until they get to 50, and then I stand next to them and they're like, what the heck happened? Right. And then it's the secret. And the Japanese have known this. That's what blows my mind. The Japanese have known this for like decades. Right. That's what blows my mind.
All right. Well, Sam, is there anything that, as we come to a close here, is there anything that you want to say to everybody out there that might be watching this, and might be watching this at a future, later date, or those people that are just looking into this?
Yeah, I think there comes a time in all of our lives where we will question, what's my purpose, or what's my happiness, why am I here, type thing, or what is fulfilling, and so I got to that at 38, and I started to question things, and I started to look around, and the first place I looked was there's happy people out there. What are they doing that I'm not doing? And so I would implore people to go ask questions, go explore, right? Because I'm not personally, I wasn't born to work and pay bills. That's just not my MO. I was born to have a good time, right? And so luckily I had a near-death experience that taught me what the afterlife was, right? And from that experience, I've purposely set out and said, I want to design this kind of life, right? But the tool that I was using at the time wasn't a very good tool to actually get the result of my design. I needed a tool. I needed to upgrade my tools that I could use to design my life. And Kangen has been the best tool. It's a Swiss Army knife, right? The best tool that I've ever come across. And it's the easiest tool to use. I don't need a college degree. I have friends that are MD, PhDs. I don't need any of that, right? I'm a professional skier, right? And I'm too old to turn a professional skateboarder, but I'm still doing it at my age, right? And my friends are just like, what are you doing? I said, whatever I want, right? But you first have to start questioning. You question everything. You question why are we all here in America and we could pick any career that we want, but all we want is early retirement, right? If the landscape is so good, why do we always want to leave? Right? And so everyone's going to get to that point where they're burned out or something, and they're going to start looking at something else. And that's when you start asking questions. Hopefully before the burnout. Ask questions, and just go ask one of a distributor, a person who invited you to this call. Just ask them, what are you doing? What are you using this for? How are you getting your results? And can I do it too? And so, I'm sharing this with my children. My daughter's 14, my son's 17. They're going to be doing this, right? I mean, they're drinking water, might as well get paid for it.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Sam. And thank you, everybody, for being on the call. And we're going to have another great speaker next.